Let's talk about Manchester United, Aston Villa. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in town. The magic is working.
What magic
Come from behind.
What magic is that?
Okay, let's be serious now. What went right for United? How did they? Because normally United would have crumbled and maybe considered like 2 more or 3 more or something. We saw them against was it Newcastle? I think it was Newcastle.
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth actually. We saw them against Bournemouth where they just capitulated. But again, what did they do right yesterday? How did they mastermind that comeback?
I think earlier on in the game, before the 2 goals were scored, I think United were fairly in control, but couldn't still crack it in the final third. And once Aston Villa went 2 goals up, you understand that the pressure piled on, and the fans at Old Trafford just felt, no, enough is enough at halftime. I do think the Blues at halftime maybe galvanized them to actually come back into the game and fight a bit more. But the key point in that game, or the key moment, has to be when United figured out that the long balls did cause Aston Villa a lot of problem, based on the fact that they were high pressing, and that ultimately affected them. They couldn't cope, and that was how United basically got their goals. And I worry for Villa at this point in time if teams begin to understand how to beat that press, because even the offside trap as well, like the Villa line is always so straight that if you're not careful, you'd always fall into that trap. And United, once they could figure out that they could actually break that line, that was how the 3 goals came about at the end of the day.
Triple O, a lot has been said about Aston Villa, about how they may be title contenders, top 4 contenders, but games like that show why maybe they might fall short, why people still have their doubts about Aston Villa, why people still feel like maybe when it gets to the nitty-gritty, they might stumble and fall, because you can't be 2-0 up in a ground where you've never won before, or you've never won for a long time, and things are going well for you, and somehow a game that would have taken you level on points with the team at the top of the table, and some might find a way to just mess it all up.
Well, this is not a champion stuff.
Yep.
This is not a sign of a team that is highly competitive. And for Aston Villa, they've had a very good run, but let's not forget, at home.
Yeah, fair enough.
At home. Overall, they've had a good run in 2023, but majorly, large chunk of their, result has come at the Villa Park. And yesterday, they were at Old Trafford.
Yep.
So for Aston Villa and Unai Emery, as good as he is, he's got that little bit of capitulation in him. Don't forget when he was at Paris Saint-Germain as well, 4-0 in the first leg. Then they lost 6-1 in the second leg. So he's always had that bit of capitulation. And yesterday, Aston Villa did capitulate. Yes, they had a very good plan going into that game. But the moment they got found out by Manchester United, late in that game, there was no way back. There was no way back. So for Aston Villa, I think the best they will do this season is probably make it into the top 4. I don't think that kind of performance, I know it's just one game, but I think with what Manchester United did and how they actually caught Aston Villa, if Villa keep doing the same thing, it's just only a matter of time before other teams they look at that weakness that Manchester United exploited yesterday and start using it against them.
Everybody want to add something?
Yeah, I just feel it's unfair, to use a game to ultimately wrap up a team. The fact that United got it right in that aspect last night doesn't mean every other team will get it right. It's not left for Unai Emery himself to try and make adjustments, because it's a system that has worked for them all season long. And like I've said several times on this show, yes, on the road they seem to struggle sometimes, but at home they seem to be unbeatable basically. So I wouldn't like us to just say, because Villa lost against United and what have you, we should just ultimately write off their season, because that's how Chico is beginning to sound right now.
No. I said I know it's just a game.
Yeah, he did
if other teams can also start can figure them out, then I'm not going to consider them as an outsider for the title.
Nicholas, what's going on with Newcastle? 1 win in 4 matches. Again, we've tried to use that excuse for Manchester United about injuries. People said no, they're not having it, and they use Newcastle as an example. They're getting it done despite the injuries, but they're not really getting it done. 1 win in 4 matches, 1 win in 5 matches, and 3-1 at home to a team struggling like Nottingham Forest. What's going on?
Anthony, I think it's beginning to catch up with them. You know, at first they said the injuries were not going to be a problem, and Eddie Howe managed to bring in some players who have actually, you know, cover that space, that vacuum of injuries. But now they are beginning to, you know, see the reality. And yesterday, Nottingham Forest actually had somebody who actually put close to about 10,000 naira on Newcastle to win that particular game. It was actually a sad story, and guess what? It was a former Newcastle player, Chris Woods, who actually, you know, got an hat-trick, and it was very clinical. The second and the third goal actually were very, very good. The one that took out the Broca, you know, do the roundup and all of that. I think for Newcastle, the way forward for them is to, you know, go back and to that drawing board, get that mojo they had before at the beginning of this particular season. If not, I think they're going to face more maybe losses if they continue this way, and injury probably might not be the only excuse they will need going forward, because I think Eddie Howe at this moment is trying to see where he can get it right and get them back to winning ways, but that's not happening.
To go hard to what Nicola said, aside the injuries, I think having Nick Pope out as well has really cost that team dearly, because when you have a goalkeeper in his mode, you know that your job is half done as a defender. They don't really have as much faith as they have in Pope.
The Broca,
So I think that is affecting them a lot.
Very quickly, Nicolas, let me stay with you for this one. Liverpool top of the table, good times.
Well,
it wasn't the best, it wasn't vintage dominance, but hey, a win is a win is a win.
Anthony, we had 8 shots on target in the first half. I think we probably should have scored 4 goals in the first half. But I think the guys were a little bit wasteful. You know, we saw a lot of chances. We saw the one that Mohamed Salah hit the bar. I think they probably would have scored 4 goals in the first half. But then again, Burnley came into the second half looking like they were going to cause an upset, and they almost got a goal. You know, but I think at the end of the day, Liverpool is always going to be Liverpool. They never die in spirit till 90 minutes. I think that is the spirit that every other team in the English Premier League would always wish. And you know, the atmosphere for Liverpool fans, home and away, I think is always been supporting. And for Darwin Núñez, I'm glad he actually got a goal. In 13 games he has not scored, so that one is also you know, a confidence booster. I'd probably compare him to the likes of Højlund, which actually got another goal after how many games of not scoring. So it was a good victory, and it's good to be at the top of the Premier League.
Darwin Núñez is a strange striker.
The days you expect him to score,
he's a strange striker.
The day you just give up on him, and that particular day, I think he will definitely do wonders.
And beyond that, it's the goals he scores. He will tap empty net if he wastes it.
Very tight.
Then look at the technique to bend it around the goalkeeper from the edge of the box one time. I don't understand.
I think for Darwin Núñez, I think when he's on the ball, he thinks too much. He takes his time to think too much, and that is the simple problem. And he gets confused. That's the simple problem with Jackson as well. He takes too much time thinking of what to do. Then eventually, before they realize the opportunity is becoming even more difficult. I think that goes for Darwin Núñez as well.
Did you enjoy this video? Hit the subscribe button for more. Leave a comment and like. Thank you.